Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a special welcome to Hanover's finest for a special event for our police department. At this time, I would like to read into the record that adequate notice of the May 22nd, 2014 meeting has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act by posting written notice and agenda of the meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building, 1000 Route 10, Hanover Township, and by hand delivering, mailing, or faxing such notice and agenda to the following newspapers: Morris County Daily Record, the Star Ledger, and Hanover Eagle, and by filing same with the Township Clerk.
Okay, on roll call, we'll note for the record that Mayor Francioli is on Township business this evening. He has an excused absence. On roll call, Committeeman Gallagher.
Here.
Committeeman Bruno.
Here.
Committeeman Capola.
Here.
And Deputy Mayor John Faramasca.
Here.
4 members in attendance, sir.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'd like to take time to pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, if I could have a motion to open to public, please. So move.
Second.
Okay. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the committee at this time, please rise, come to the podium, state your name and your address.
Motion to close.
Second. Okay. Our next official order of business is a presentation of a plaque, a special presentation this evening, to Patrolman Raymond Risen upon his retirement and in grateful recognition of 25 years of dedicated service to the residents of Hanover Township. We thank you so much for your contributions to our community and keeping it a safe place for all of us. So at this time, Mr. Polo, can you join us? And we'd like to read into the record the following. Presented by Township Committee, Township of Hanover, County of Morris, State of New Jersey, to Patrolman Raymond Risen, upon his retirement in grateful recognition of 25 years of dedicated services to the residents of Hanover Township and a member of the Police Department. May 22nd, 2014. Officer, if you could please join us up front.
You have to call the county for that name?
Yes, please come up and join us.
They put up with me for 19, 25 years.
Come on, baby, come on. Come on.
They use the plaque for being with him. It's a sad day.
Thank you very much. Town Council, thank you. Mr. Gallagher, my coworkers, thank you very much. President Hanover, thank you.
Good luck. Right.
Over to North Carolina.
What part is he going to?
He told me, I forgot. Ray, where are you going?
Ray, what part of North Carolina?
St. James Plantation by Southport.
Very nice, enjoy.
Thank you.
Where's the motorcycle?
What's that?
Where's the motorcycle?
Ray, can I ask you one question?
Yes, sir.
Did you find a good karate school down there to continue your studying?
Two of them.
Okay, good.
So I'm all set.
Good. Good luck
All right,
down
thank
there.
you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good luck today.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Okay.
No, Monday, it's a holiday.
Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
All right, Mr. Administrator?
Okay, Mayor, members of the Township Committee, we have the approval of the Township Committee minutes, regular minutes of May 8th, and the bid committee meeting of May 6th. May we have a motion for approval?
Motion?
So moved by Mr. Gallagher, seconded by Mr. Capola, on roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
And we have available for public inspection the following department reports. The report of the Township CMFO as treasurer as of the 14th of May. We have two reports from the Superintendent of the Public Works, Buildings and Grounds and Park Maintenance Department for the month of April on all activities and projects conducted by the Public Works Department. Our township engineer has submitted his report as of May 8th for all activities conducted in April of 2014. The chief of police has submitted his report on all activities by the police department in April. The construction official has submitted his report on the issuance of all building permits and certificates of occupancy issued during the month of April. And finally, we have the report of the township's part-time human resource specialist on all of her activities during the month of April. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we continue with the agenda, we have before you 7 ordinances for public hearing. They were all appeared in the Daily Record in accordance with law. And at this time, we can take all of these ordinances as a consent agenda for public hearing because they were duly advertised and have the same public hearing date. So on ordinances 8A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, is there anyone in chambers wishing to comment on any of those ordinances? Well, first of all, may we have a motion to open the
So
public
moved.
hearing?
Second.
So moved, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone in chambers wishing to be heard concerning ordinance numbers 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, or 27? Okay, we have a motion to close the public hearing on all the ordinances, second by Mr. Faramasca. We'll note for the record that the notices of adoption for all these ordinances will be published in the Daily Record in accordance with law. Now, at this time, may we have a motion as a consent agenda to adopt ordinances 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, and 27.
So moved.
So moved by Mr.
Second.
Bruno, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call for adoption, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
So approved. Ladies and gentlemen, on pages 2 and 3, before we go to the resolutions as a consent agenda, Mr. Samrau requested that the Township Committee introduce the following ordinance. This is ordinance number 28-14. It is an ordinance of the Township Committee vacating a portion of the paper street known as Dennis Avenue in the Township. This ordinance would be further considered for public hearing and final passage at the Township Committee meeting on June the 26th at 8:30 p.m. And at that time, any person wishing to be heard concerning the ordinance will be given an opportunity to be heard. The ordinance also provides that anyone located within 200 feet of this proposed vacation be given a copy of this ordinance and notification that they have the right to appear at the public hearing to be heard. So at this time, may we have a motion to introduce ordinance 28-2014?
So moved.
So moved
Second.
by Mr. Capola, seconded by Mr. Bruno. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher.
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Faramasca.
Aye.
So introduced. Now, as we proceed with the resolutions as a consent agenda, are there any questions from the Township Committee concerning any of the resolutions A through J. Hearing none, may we have a motion to approve the resolutions as consent
Second.
agenda? So moved by Mr. Capola, seconded by Mr. Gallagher. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher,
Aye.
Mr. Bruno.
Aye.
Mr. Capola.
Aye.
And Mr. Ferramoski.
Aye.
Also, raffle applications as a consent agenda. Raffle applications 2753, iExcel Organization Incorporated for a Tricky Tray. Raffle application 2754, iExcel Organization Incorporated, 50/50 on-premise. And RL 2755, the Calais School, for 50/50 on-premise. Can we have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Bruno. Second by Mr. Capola. On roll call, Mr. Gallagher,
Aye.
Mr. Bruno,
Aye.
Mr. Capola,
Aye.
and Mr. Ferramoska.
Aye.
So approved, Mr. Chairman. That clears the administrator clerk's agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator. At this time, are there any members of the committee which have business which they want to report on?
Few things from me, if I may.
Mr. Bruno?
The grand opening of Bee Meadow Pool tomorrow evening. Please come out and join us, weather permitting. Excited to have the pool opening once again, as mentioned previously, for its 50th consecutive year, serving the residents here in Hanover. Also, the summer concert series will take place July 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th at the Brickyard. Another good lineup of live bands. Open to all Hanover residents. Please put those dates on your calendar. Come out and join us for an evening of music and camaraderie. No charge to residents of town. And last, I know my colleague will be speaking about the Memorial Day Parade and ceremonies, but I do want to encourage everyone to come out and line the parade route and honor our veterans and those who march in the parade. And I've noticed over the last few years that attendance has dwindled quite a bit, and if you are home and don't have plans, the whole parade goes from about 9:30 till 10 or 10:15. Come out and support the marchers of the parade. It's a great event.
Thank you.
Yes,
Didn't want to steal your thunder, George. I know
That's
you're going to
okay.
talk about the breakfast
that's
and
okay. The breakfast, everybody knows by now, is 7 to 8:15, so it's open to all the residents at the community center. What I did want to bring up was, just this past week, again, I've had a couple of phone calls from folks in the schools concerning the changing of the polling locations for an election. I'd like to clarify a point. That is not the responsibility, nor can we control that as a township committee, nor can the Board of Education control it. That is controlled by it's a state statute by the Board of Elections. And at this point, it's being evaluated, and nothing really has taken place of any changes up till now. But one thing is for sure, Chief Gallagher has assured me, as in the past, since the incident occurred in Connecticut, that there will be a police officer at every polling location in the schools from the time it starts until the election is over. Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Capola.
John, just a
Ms.
couple quick ones.
Gallagher?
I'd like to report that last Friday night was our biggest and best Hanover Youth Night, where we partner up with the Cedar Knolls Fire Department, the Whippany Fire Department, the Hanover Tigers football, baseball, soccer, and hockey, the Scouts, and the Knights of Columbus. We had 300 people at one point in the Whippany Park gym, cafeteria, and hallway. The Scouts did have to learn how to play volleyball, practice volleyball, and compete in a tournament to get a badge. They did play against a group of firemen, and they actually won. There is. Then from there, the Cedar Knolls Fire Department played the Whippany Fire Department. It was a great game, and we're unclear on who won. So I spoke to Mayor Francioli last Saturday and a couple representatives from the fire department, and we're going to be putting together a rematch this summer under the lights at one of our fields. When that game is over, we're going to get out the rope because the tug of war went over big, and we're not clear on who won that either.
Okay.
And the Scouts did ask for a rematch, and we will keep better score, and we'll have a conclusion to that small rivalry that just developed. Secondly, we had a guest speaker in the library last Saturday at 2, a World War II hero, Chet Kochin. I think there was 80 people there. He told a great story. There was refreshments, he hung out, took a lot of questions, interacted with everybody. It was a great event. I'd like to thank Robin for taking a lot of time to set that up. And the last thing is tonight we scheduled the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee to make the recommendations to the Township Committee. But with the absence of Mayor Francioli and Bob was traveling and got in a little bit late, we postponed it to 2 weeks from tonight. So that's my report.
Thank you, Mr. Gallagher, and I'm particularly pleased with the effort which you have demonstrated to our community in terms of commitment to the children and the development of the children within the community. I think the Hanover Youth Night, through your effort and substance awareness and a greater team of all of the various groups that came out for that, it's just fantastic. I'm thrilled about it, and I look forward to continuing to see it and contributing to it. So great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to talk briefly about the Hanover Township website. Hanover Township has a new website, and it's really good. And we encourage you to come out, visit it. Go online, get a virtual experience, and oh, by the way, there's something in it for you. And what's in it? There's a photo contest. So if you like to take pictures, anything like scenic spots in Hanover, Town on the Move, special events, businesses, friendly faces, historical places, please take them, submit them, and oh, by the way, there's a prize. There's 12 winners and there's one grand prize winner. And the grand prize winner, it's pretty good. It's a $150 Visa gift card. And who couldn't use a $150 Visa gift card? So please come out and visit on the web the new Hanover Township website. Last point really talks to the fact of what this weekend is all about. Many people consider this weekend the unofficial kickstart to the summer. And you'll be firing up the grill, and you'll be entertaining, and you'll be with friends. But, you know, please remember to reflect a little bit about what Memorial Day is all about, because freedom, my friends, is not free. To quote Ronald Reagan on his Memorial Day address in 1983, he said, quote unquote, "We owe this freedom of choice and action to those men and women in uniform who have served this nation and its interest in time of need. In particular, we are forever indebted to those who have given their lives that we might be free." So please remember what it's about and honor our veterans this weekend. Thank you. If there's any members of the public at this time which would like to speak, I'd like to open the meeting up to members of the public.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and second by Mr. Gallagher. Okay, at this time, if there's any members of the public, please come up to the podium. State your name, please, your name and address.
Hi, Diana Plaza, 2 Briarwood Court, Whippany, New Jersey. I'm here to ask the township a follow-up question from a question that was posed several months ago, and that is I need to understand what the township is doing about the bioretention basin in front of St. John's Ukrainian Church. That is a filthy cesspool that attracts mosquitoes, that is constantly being visited by the Morris County Commission for Mosquitoes to check for larvae, to treat for larvae, etc. Documentation from last year, from as early as June of last year, indicated that there was an awareness of the committee, or of the township at least, that this was a problem, that this was a mosquito breeding bioretention basin, I guess, and although there's a lot of documentation that it's a major public health issue, that remediation has to happen, nothing has happened, and it's almost a year later. So I want to know what the township is able to do about this, or is going to do about this.
Okay, thank you. I can tell you the township is interested in this. I can tell you it's not a simple matter, because it involves essentially going on property, which is not township property, to try to figure out a solution set for the problem. And the problem is essentially this standing water.
Mm-hmm.
Standing water. What I'd like to do is get Mr.
Well, I can
Sarah's
add-
perspective
Yeah, I can add a little
to
bit to
share
that.
as to what he's been doing, because we are trying to address this.
Yes, as you know, I did issue a notice of violation to the church. I think I copied you on it.
Right.
They did reach out to me within the allotted time period. We are setting up a meeting with the church, their engineers, Dr. Van Orden, myself, to develop a strategy to to permanently fix that condition. In addition, I do know that George Van Orden and the Health Department did issue a summons, I believe yesterday, because they did find mosquito breeding activity on the site.
But, I mean, the paperwork from last year already identified this as an engineering issue, as a pitch problem, as something that needed a permanent solution. So for me, I can't understand why a year later, this is still not resolved. I have a friend who lives in Cedar Knoll who was threatened with fines for every day her treehouse was not taken down. So I don't understand how they can go for a year and do nothing and expose the public to this major health risk and and make taxpayers pay for the Morris County Commission to come and check and to spray and to check again and to spray on a weekly basis. So I don't understand why it's easy to give a private citizen a summons for taking down a treehouse, but something that's such a major public health issue, nothing can be done about it. I just don't understand. Maybe you can help shed some more light on that.
Well, last year, I did write to them, and we did meet with their engineer to get this solution. And then the winter came about, so then there was a little delay in that period. I know they were trying to manage the mosquito breeding.
I mean, I think from the documentation that I read from the Mosquito Commission, that they managed it by having someone from the county come check and spray.
No, I think they were doing other efforts themselves. You'd have to check with Dr. Van Orden on exactly what
Yeah,
was
I mean, I'm just getting more worried because the warmer weather is coming. That's clearly a mosquito breeding habitat. Anytime you have pools of stagnant water, that just attracts
Right.
mosquitoes. And it's a public health issue. It really, I mean, even the documentation from the county says it's a public health issue, and there's a problem with the engineering, and it has to be fixed right away. And a year later, and no action has been taken. I'm not sure, I mean, is there something that I can do as a private citizen if the hands of the township are tied?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure.
The township has notified the property owner about the condition. The mosquito commission will be called out. There's no additional cost for the mosquito commission. It's a county-wide commission. We hear you in terms of the public health concern about it. Our professionals will be going out, we'll be looking at it, and we'll get you an answer as to, when we're going to see
Yeah, I mean,
some
for me, that's the
change.
question. It's the when, because since last year, the discussions and the meetings with the church and all that's been going on, but there's no action taken. It's still the same problem a year later, and it's getting warmer and warmer, and it's just posing more and more of a threat to the community.
No, well, thank you again for bringing this to our attention, and Mr. Macera will keep us posted as to the next steps, and hopefully we'll have some more information for you going into our next meeting.
Sure.
Okay, I mean, because
Yeah, I am
the other...
meeting with them
Go ahead.
next week. I do
Next
have a
week?
meeting with them next week.
Okay, all right. And was a summons issued yet? 'Cause I think
Yeah,
that
no,
was
I
your
did- I
next
did
step, was
mention,
to have them,
Yeah,
okay.
the health officer did issue a summons, so there was some enforcement action.
Okay, and you know that the biggest concern now is not only is this, filthy mosquito breeding habitat, but the new development that's going to go up right next door to it, that's going to have a bioretention, and even though I know that
not
the
a-
engineer said it's very different, it's not going to be a problem, but
Exactly. It's not a bio, it's
How
a
can I have-
different type
yeah.
of basin. It won't have standing water in it.
this one wasn't supposed to have standing water in it, and it does, right? So I don't really have the confidence that that one isn't going to
Well,
either.
that one had a recharge element to it, and that's what's failing. The other one does not have that element to it.
Okay,
a different form
I
of
will be in touch.
Okay, thank you.
The Mosquito Commission does have areas throughout the county that they go automatically. I served on the Mosquito Commission for a number of years, and there's all hot spots throughout the county, going all the way up towards Sussex, that, anything that's in Morris County, if there's an issue, they're out there constantly making
right.
sure they resolve those issues and to help out the residents.
Yeah, and I think in a lot of cases, there's not much they can do other than spray ponds, natural type things.
they
They really
check
can't do
to
much,
make
but
sure
this is
that-
a man-made structure that can be fixed by man if it was made by man
They do a lot
incorrectly.
of sampling to make sure that, they know exactly what they're dealing with.
Okay. All right. Are there any other members of the public which would like to address the committee at this time? Okay, seeing none, may I have a motion, please, to close this portion of the meeting?
Second?
Okay. May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
I thought you were gonna vote the record.
The meeting is adjourned.
Break the record.
No record breaking.
No broken records.
No record breaking, John.
The rest of them I have to sign. Sorry about that.
Not a problem.
These two for the posse resolutions.
Yes.
I have a special pen for you on those two.
Okay, all right.
And then you can use your other pen.